Hello, I'm John Paul and I'm here at Rimmer Brothers today to fit a stainless steel sports exhaust with the quad system on this Range Rover P38. This is a V8 petrol one, so hopefully it's going to sound good. This exhaust system and many other parts are available in this dedicated catalogue to the P38 Range Rover. You can get onto Rimmer's website or ring them up and they'll send you a free catalogue, or you can just browse through the website. We're going to start by removing the old exhaust system. It's been on 15 years. These nuts and bolts are not going to come undone. We do need to cut them off. Use an angle grinder, air hacksaw, normal hacksaw, whatever, but we are going to have to cut off the flange bolts at the start of the silencer, and the same as the one at the back of the silencer where it joins the triple pipe. So we'll get them cut off and then we'll remove the silencer first. I'm going to cut through the two bolts now. Obviously wear some eye protection, and then let's get away. That's one cut. I'm just going to turn it around a little bit now. I'm going to get a hammer just to tap the flanges so I can turn them around a little bit to get a bit of easier access to the other bolt. There's another two bolts at the back of the silencer where the flange. I mean, we'll have to cut through one. You'll have to get a hammer and a bar just to tap the rust off. Then you'll have to rotate the flanges round by 180 degrees, then you'll be able to cut the other bolt out, and then we can remove the silencer. I've had a bar and a hammer just to loosen off all the rust from around these two the two flanges, so I can spin it round now. I can get in with the angle grinder and I can cut the other bolt off. So back on with the goggles, get up there with the grinder. Now that's off. Now what we can do, there's two rubber mounts on this silencer. We can get those off and remove the silencer. These are the rubber mounts I was on about. There's one at each end of the silencer, and you'll notice there's just like a bar that goes round, so you just have to just slide them off the end. And then this is the silencer off. We're ready to move on to the tailpipes. To take the rear section of the exhaust off in one whole lump, it's just a little bit tight coming past the panhard rod. So I'm just going to remove this nut and bolt from the near side so that we can just lower the panhard rod out of the way. Then we can take the four rubber mounts off for the two rear silencers, and then we can take the whole unit off as one. I've just placed a couple of axle stands underneath the silencers just so when we pop the rubber mounts off, you haven't got to catch all the weight at one time. It'll sit on the axle stands, then you can just take it down and nice and controlled and not trap your fingers and hurt yourself. So taking the two mounts off that side, I'm just going to take the two off this side, and then we will lower it to the ground. The rubber mounts can be fairly tight and awkward to get off, so I mean these exhausts are going to get binned anyway, so I've just cut through that mount with the disc cutter. Then I can get the exhaust out of the way, and then I can just release the old pins ready to fit the new exhaust. I've now wiggled the exhaust out so it's all free from the car, so we can put this onto one side, fit the silencer. That's what we're going to do next. I'm now going to fit the silencer, so let's just put the mount in onto the two rubber mounts, and once they're into place we can get our new nuts and bolts and just loosely bolt the front flange in place, because we don't want to tighten anything up until we've got the whole exhaust system fitted properly, and then we'll go around and tighten everything up after that. So that's it. They're into place. Now we're going to move on to the rear section of the exhaust now. I'm now going to fit the intermediate pipe, so we're just going to slide it over the top of the panhard rod, get it into position. Same again, we're just going to put the two nuts and bolts mounting onto the flange, just do them nice and loosely so we can get the tailpipes fitted all before we tighten anything up. That's those two in. Now we'll put a couple of nuts on there, get the silencers, offer them up, and hopefully it'll all fit into place nicely and we can tighten everything up. Now I'm going to fit the right hand silencer. Before I fit the silencer onto the intermediate pipe, I'm just going to use some of this assembly paste. Just slide a bit in there, just so when it sets it just stops any of the blowing. So with that in, lid back on. Okay, then we just slide that over the sleeve far enough so we can then refit the two rubber mounts. That's one in. Another one, these are a little bit tight, so you might just have to struggle a little bit with them, but they will go in, and once they're in, we'll then go and fit the left-hand one. I've got the exhaust all in place now, so all we've got to do now is tighten up. So we've got the U-bolts on, let's tighten up the clamps, tighten up the front and rear flange of the front silencer, make sure it's all nice and sturdy, make sure nothing's catching and banging, and then we'll replace the panhard rod, tighten that nut and bolt up, and then that's it, ready to start it up and see how the big V8 sounds. That's a job all finished now. All we need to do is start it up, make sure there's no leaks on the exhaust, and then that's it, ready to drive away. It's just too tempting not to start this big V8 up and see how the sports exhaust from Rimmer Brothers sounds. So let's go and do that now. Sounds pretty good. It's all good, it's not blowing, it sounds great, ready to drive.